here in an elimination match. Winner, they move on to day number 2 to play standard. Loser is all done for the weekend. They'll be watching the rest of the players play.
Yeah, for Rudy Briksza, a really disheartening 0-3 in Legacy. He was happy to have a very good showing, actually, in Modern with this deck. Had a chance last round to just lock up his group. Did take a loss to Alex Bestecki, so it means he'll have to play Kevin here.
And both these players are going to take a look at their opening hands, waiting for the green light to get ready to go in what could be a lengthy match, but it'll be a Sulfur Falls to start here for Rudy. We'll go over to Kevin. It'll be an Island and a Serum Visions. That's how he'll start things off.
Yeah, so positioning here, remember, both players need to respect the opponent's ability to bait to combo. They both still have the full amount in. It's going to be 2 Pester Mites, 4 Exarchs, and 4 Twins on both sides.
Jones will take a draw step, picked up a copy of Deceiver Exarch. Here's another copy of Serum Visions. He'll draw a card and now scry 2.
Yeah. More than anything else in the early turns, what you're hoping to do is you need to, first of all, keep your opponent honest on the twin combo. Don't let them just simply combo you out. But other than that, like, making your land drops is almost as important as anything else. If you can do it with a Desolate Lighthouse, even better. Yeah,
a lot of the times this matchup feels like a control mirror because it kind of is, but just both decks have a combo finish. So typically in control mirrors, you know, Esper, Grixis, Teamer, whatever control deck is the choice of the weekend. If you're in a control mirror, we oftentimes say first person to miss a land drop loses. No, I don't know if that's the case in this matchup. We'll see how things do play out, but you definitely want to hit your land drops to start.
Well, to a certain point, I think you're right here. Both players are playing blue decks, and when we get to these pivotal turns where players start snap casting cards, cryptic commanding, I mean, the 7th land is by no means a dead card. It might mean that you can snap cast and Desolate Lighthouse, and if that's the case, the 7th land is doing work.
It's a Bloodstained Mire there for Rudy. That'll be his 3rd land. We head back Kevin Jones's way. He has a Sulfur Falls to play. That'll enter the battlefield untapped. He could also go with the fetch land. He'll go with the Falls, however, and pass the turn back. Rudy will sacrifice this Bloodstained Mire.
Right, so the first thing you want to have happen here is you don't want to get 2-for-1s too many times in this matchup. If you do, that's one of the ways you can lose. It would be great to get a Pester Mite or an Exarch in play. I think Exarch's actually generally better because it's harder to remove. You'll see one player get something like an Exarch in play and then just chip away for 1 damage a turn. And that sounds anemic, but it forces action on the other player.
There's a mountain there from Briksza.
We'll see, Kevin looks like he has plenty of flash creatures to try on end step here. There's not too much danger of him getting 2-for-1 here. I suppose Rudy could cryptic him, but that would, you know, Rudy only has 1 cryptic command. Remember, Kevin has 2.
And that's the big land right there. It's a copy of Desolate Lighthouse. And this is the kind of card that might force some action from Rudy now, because if Kevin's able to just sit here, sit back, sculpt a perfect hand, it'll be impossible for Rudy to win.
You see players just have traded lands for the first 5 turns. The only spell that actually has been cast is 2 Serum Visions from Kevin.
It looks like Kevin's going to go to Pester Mite.
Interesting. He's choosing this one over Deceiver Exarch, so I think he's trying to instigate some trades from Rudy. If both of them trade creatures for kill spells over and over, what that means is that Kevin's Desolate Lighthouse could start to work over on Rudy.
Land number 5 there from Kevin is a Misty Rainforest. And now it's time for Jones to come to the red zone. A Lightning Bolt's going to take care of the Pester Mite.
Yeah, these are the trades I was talking about. Kevin more or less expected this. I think more than anything else, he's glad it's not an Electrolyze.
This is true. Don't want the removal spell to cantrip.
Yeah. But I do believe, actually, that's the price that Rudy's paid for going to Grixis. He has Kolaghan's commands, whereas Kevin has Electrolyzes. So Rudy doesn't have to work as hard for his 2-for-1s.
Yeah, both players, as far as their 3-mana kind of awesome spell is concerned, both will draw a card, both will cantrip, stuff like that. Kolaghan's command, likely the better of the 2, and we'll see what kind of role that splash for that card plays in this matchup.
Yeah, Kolaghan's command better, but don't underestimate the power of Kevin having more Dispels than Rudy. If we get to a pivotal turn in a counter war, the fact that Dispel is not a soft counter and that it costs 1 is really important here.
Oh, Dispel's huge in the mirror. Absolutely huge. Blood Crypt the draw here for Rudy. That'll enter the battlefield tapped. One thing I always do find kind of interesting in this particular matchup is how you value your life total. Do you just want to play those Ravnica Shocklands untapped? Do you just want to crack a fetch for 3? Because your opponent's going to kill you with infinite damage, presumably.
Well, the life totals don't matter until all of a sudden one player on end step will go Bolt, Snapcaster, Bolt, and they say, whoa, that's half my life.
Yep. And then it might be too late to change things.
Right, because then, you know, they're locked in. Maybe they even have the remaining burn just in their hand.
For Kevin, an activation here of Desolate Lighthouse. He does discard an island, and now we head back his way. and he'll just pass the turn back without hitting a land drop.
Wow, okay.
So it's weird because I don't know if that's good or that's bad because that's bad because he misses a land, but that might be fine with him because he's saying, well, I have all spells in my hand.
Yeah, his hand is good. There's a pivotal point at which you stop wanting land here. It's not a pure control mirror where you want land number 10, land number 11. You'd rather have spells. Now, I don't know if 5 is where you want to stop on. That seems low, but then again, he will draw lands as the game goes on.
Snapcaster Mage did flashback a Lightning Bolt, and now it came across. Electrolyze here on the end step from Jones. Going to shoot Snapcaster for 1, Rudy for 1, and he's looking to draw a card as well.
I want to point out some patience here on Kevin's side. One play he had access to was to flash Deceiver Exarch into play and attempt to block the Snapcaster Mage. Now, because there's higher blowout potential in that play, he went for the end step Electrolyze instead.
This is a very aggressive use of Cryptic Command.
Wow, yeah, I did not expect Rudy to fight over it.
Now, looking to keep Snapcaster Mage alive, and that's going to work. Now, Snapcaster Mage was the draw, and it looks like Briksza trying to play a more tempo burn game than maybe focusing on the combo here as we head back to Kevin Jones.
Well, Rudy is cementing himself as the aggressor, and what that means is that Kevin is going to want to get more and more defensive. I think the fact that he missed that land drop may come to get him then if these are the roles the players are playing.
He did think a long time before discarding with the Lighthouse there. Jones going to be under attack here from Snapcaster Mage yet again, and you can see Rudy Briksza's hand right now, 2 bolts of Snapcaster Mage over there, so you can tell what the plan is.
Yeah, it feels early to me on Rudy's side to be going on the aggressive. I mean, he only has Kevin to 15. But that said, if he has enough bolts and Snapcasters, then this is absolutely what he wants to be doing. He has, by putting more lands into play, he's become more aggressive. What this means is that he's advantaged in the counter wars, but he's disadvantaged in card advantage wars.
Here's a Snapcaster Mage with 4 blocks. Electrolyze appears to be the target. No interest in targeting Serum Visions or Pestermite. And it looks like a Lightning Bolt with this card on the stack. Going to clear out the Snapcaster Mage.
So the Electrolyze will still have flashback.
Yep. Now Kevin will sacrifice the Misty Rainforest. And you can see in Rudy's hand, he does have a copy of Remand. And Remand is an interesting card in these blue mirrors because a lot of the time you spend remanding your own spell, drawing a card and being able to use that spell again. But remanding Electrolyze from the graveyard right now, not so bad.
No, when you remand a card that's flashed back, it's just counter spell draw a card. It's very powerful. It's another 2-for-1 here, and that's what's going to happen for Rudy. He's doing a great job of leveraging his mana advantage right now. And I think if you go back, Kevin is going to really regret discarding that land off that Desolate Lighthouse.
So Remand will take care of Electrolyze. Jones is going to fall down to 12. We head back his way. Again, we know his hand's all spells because he hasn't been playing any lands. There is a land off the top. It's a copy of Scalding Tarn.
If Kevin can just get the Snapcaster off the board, then he'll be, well, more or less fine because he is up cards on Rudy. But right now, Rudy is just not letting that happen.
Yep. We do have an update here for you guys in our backup match, and again, we're hoping we have time to jump that way. Todd Anderson, Jacob Wilson doing battle. Todd Anderson currently up a game with his Teamer Twin deck against Jacob Wilson playing Jund. Here comes Snapcaster Mage again. And now Kevin's going to cash in a Lightning Bolt to get that off the table. Something he could have done many different times, but he wanted to get the expensive spells out of his hand first, it appears.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt a premium here because of it's so hard to fight a counter war over it.
Now, of course, as you know, Magic is a game of hidden information, so what makes this difficult is that neither player really have access to a card like Peek or Gataxian Probe. So you are playing a guessing game when you are playing in the Twin Mirror without access to those cards, and as a result, then players might play a little bit more cautiously than they normally would if they were working with perfect information. So I think we're going to see kind of some strange plays that don't make sense on the surface, but when you're running through all these decisions in your head and you're thinking, well, if I misstep just once, I get twin comboed out, maybe you're willing to take a few more points of damage.
Well, what's impressive here is Rudy's aggressive plan really paid off. So now he could actually transition to the control role. Because Rudy was aggressive, he forced action at times that were not as good for Kevin. And if you look at this, Rudy got a couple 2-for-1s. He got a good Cryptic Command off, and he got that Remand on a flashback spell. So Rudy is right now he's plus a land on Kevin. And he's actually up cards in hand on Kevin as well. So he just has advantage and is up 5 life points.
Pestermite's going to go after the Lighthouse. I think we're going to see Lightning Bolt here from Kevin yet again. So, Pestermite down.
This was Kevin's plan. Now, that Pestermite tapped the Lighthouse, as you mentioned. That's excellent play on Rudy's side. But this is where Rudy could stall out. His aggressive plan could fizzle because he spent a couple Snapcaster Mages to get that advantage. When you look at the player's hands, Rudy's cards are... they're just trades. You know, he has a Lightning Bolt, he has a Splinter Twin. these are weaker cards. On Kevin's side, you see a lot more blue cards. I believe Kevin has a Cryptic, a Deceiver, Exarch. If Rudy cannot keep the pressure on, Kevin's card quality should pull him back.
And remember the use of Cryptic Command earlier here from Rudy.
It was very aggressive.
It was a very aggressive use and basically setting the tone for the game, which is I'm going to try to tempo you out with Burn Spells, Lightning Bolts, and Snapcaster Mages, and we'll see if that use of Cryptic Command was correct or incorrect, as he does draw an island for the turn, and he'll just pass the turn back. Desolate Lighthouse is going to go active. Jones will draw and discard. I think he may have picked up another copy of the Lighthouse here. And he'll discard a copy of Roast. Not a great card in this matchup.
No. Sorcery speed, pretty much sorcery speed, anything is you want out of your deck.
And there's a Misty Rainforest from Jones. He'll pass the turn back over to Briksza. Sulfur Falls, and just a passing of the turn. Another Lighthouse activation.
This is where Lighthouse is really starting to flex its muscles. I said before there's this sweet spot of lands. Now, at 9 lands in play, Rudy has passed the sweet spot here.
Yeah.
And Kevin at 7 lands with Lighthouse is sitting just about perfect. So what this means, if you're a Rudy Briksza fan, you gotta hope he closes this one out soon or finds something good soon, because Kevin's gonna pull ahead.
Kolaghan's Command the draw here for Rudy. And as you mentioned, Kevin will pull ahead because all he's doing now is he's improving his card quality. He's not improving his card density. He's not adding any additional cards in his hand. But the plan here is, you know what? I've got no bad cards in my hand. And that turn is a demonstration of that, because he could have activated Lighthouse on the end step, and he said, nope, just go to my turn and draw.
7 cards in hand for Kevin. 7 spells for Rudy. He's looking at a 4-card hand, still with lands remaining. It's why he's forced to make action here, like this Kolaghan's Command on end step. Now, it still could work. If Rudy's cards are powerful and Kevin's cards don't line up right, well, then Kolaghan's Command will be a 2-for-1. But Kevin is in the position where he gets to decide when the fights are now, because if no one fights, Kevin wins.
Yep. We'll see how Kevin wants to react to this. A couple of different cards in his hand. We know he is loaded up because he's not even activating Lighthouse anymore. He's going to start by sacrificing Misty Rainforest.
Getting careful. 10 is the round where I start becoming concerned about life totals in the twin matchup. It's, ooh, okay. You know, a Snapcaster plus a Bolt is 5 when it just happens on the end step.
And the modes here with the Kolaghan's Command are making Kevin discard and bringing back Snapcaster Mage from the graveyard to hand.
The full value Kolaghan's Command, if you will. Rudy knows what the game is about. He knows he needs to get cards because he's down cards on Kevin. And because of that, that's why Kevin will fight over this.
And now Rudy's going to remand his own Kolaghan's Command. And again, this is where you see remand when we get deeper into games like this.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're targeting your own spells. You're not targeting theirs.
The worry from Kevin is if he could maybe remand his own Cryptic. And it's fine here. Now, the concern is that if he does that, maybe all of this resolves, Rudy end step puts an Exarch into play and then twins it.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin can decide to fight the card advantage war here, which is pretty good, or he can, but then he risks losing the twin war. Now, he has some low investment plays. I believe he has a Spell Snare he could use here.
I think low investment is a great way to put that, too. Spell Snare just being a 1-mana spell.
Exactly.
It really is a low investment play. But again, this all depends on what does Kevin think the strength of Rudy's hand is. Because if you get this wrong, you die.
Right.
So is it worth having this fight? Maybe yes, maybe no. Do I want to snare here? Do I want to wait?
You sometimes see straight blue-red twin players even play a card like Peak just so that they can make this decision easier.
Yep.
If he knew Rudy's hand, which I believe is Splinter Twin, Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster Mage, nothing else, then this play is a clear spell snare from Kevin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up by enough that he's considering letting himself lose this counter war because he doesn't, because, you know, it's safe. He'll concede the battle to win the war.
Well, he's got a spell snare here.
I like this. I know he's up. He's opening himself up to risk, but the payoff, the dividends on this play are huge.
So spell snare resolve, Cryptic Command still on the stack targeting Kolaghan's Command. Cryptic Command will resolve. Jones will draw a card.
Well, Rudy can go the alternate plan of end step Bolt, Snap, Bolt if he just wants to all in right now.
Well, it appears he doesn't want to do that. So he'll just pass the turn back after drawing a swamp.
The danger of not doing that is that Rudy's hand is significantly worse than Kevin's now.
Yeah.
It's Snapcaster, Twin, Bolt, Swamp.
Lightning Bolt the draw.
Okay, second Lightning Bolt. Now I'm more interested now.
There's a plan here.
2 copies of Spell Snare in Kevin's deck. Spell Snare, such a great card in this matchup. Really, any 1-mana hard counter is good, even if it only hits some spells. Now, Spell Snare gets to do work against Snapcaster Mage and Remand, which Snapcaster Mage may be the most important card post-board in this match, even pre-board.
The other thing that is typically on the radar of any twin player as well, of course they win the game with twin plus with Splinter Twin plus Pestermite or Deceiver Exarch a high percentage of the time, but a lot of their wins also come from Snapcaster plus Lightning Bolt. And when that is the case, if you're an opposing twin player in the mirror match, you're always thinking to yourself, 10 is, well, okay, we're getting there. Don't want to lose that combination of cards. So looks like Kevin is just going to discard a Splinter Twin.
Big play by Kevin. Actually, his draw is big, too. He drew another Spell Snare. Yep. At some point, because he's up so many cards, I think we'll see Kevin start to push the twin combo.
Well, he's got to start doing something, right?
Just make some Exarchs, maybe chip at them.
Here's Pestermite.
If the Pestermites trade from Lightning Bolts in Rudy's hand, once again, this is a win for Kevin. Because if you think about this game, and the fact that Kevin has so many more cards than Rudy, the reason the Lightning Bolts are scary is their ability to go upstairs.
Yep.
So if Kevin is thrilled to see this happen.
I would be thrilled with that, too. If that's going towards Pestermite, not my face when I'm at 10, either that means you don't have very many bolts, or, okay, I can do more plays like this where you care about countering or killing my Pestermites and not so much me.
Right. It's just a 1-for-1. Kevin is already up on cards. He has been all game.
And being up on cards is nice, obviously, but if you're up on a bunch of cards, it doesn't mean very much if you're not able to convert those cards into actually doing something. Now, I believe that Kevin will be able to convert those cards into resources that matter, but he's got to be able to do that.
He wants clean trades. Rudy has to make a play again. End step Snapcaster Mage.
See what the target is here. It looks like it's going to be Kolaghan's command.
I was surprised that Kevin did not go for the second Spell Snare on the Snapcaster.
Well, I think Kevin has Remand in hand.
So he wants to remand the flashback spell. Let Rudy have the 2-1.
I think so. You see Rudy's going to go through the graveyard and select the modes here. And this is where Remand actually does something good.
The full value play here from Kevin.
And Rudy doesn't get the opportunity to remand my Kolaghan's command like we saw earlier because it's being cast with flashback. So not going to work the way he wants it to. And now we head back Rudy's way. He's going to come across for 2 here, or at least try to with Snapcaster Mage.
I think we will start to see Kevin fight. We talked earlier about how you could use Deceiver Exarch to ambush a Snapcaster Mage. Mm-hmm. This feels safer right now. Now, Rudy has interaction. He picked up a copy of Murderous Cut. But I don't think Kevin's giving Rudy any more free chip damage.
Yeah, Kevin with...
Still 7. Yeah. It's always 7.
All the cards.
And you see it right. Now he fights.
Now here's Snapcaster Mage. He's going to go that route first.
Sure. And I think anything that trades is fine. We might even see him go full value and try to maybe electrolyze down the Snapcaster, just really bully with card advantage.
Well, that electrolyze should be gone.
Okay.
If memory serves, yeah. That's no longer an option in the graveyard. If the Snapcaster Mage resolves, we'll see exactly what Kevin does target. You see Lightning Bolt's going to go after Snapcaster Mage yet again. So Snapcaster Mage is down.
Great. More trades. I think Kevin's thrilled.
Yeah.
I do feel like the way we've sculpted this game, I never have felt like this game is going away that Kevin didn't want it to go. You see these trades happen, and every time we keep saying, well, this is what Kevin wanted.
There's Lightning Bolt. Remand will target that.
See if Kevin's willing to fight over that. Does have a Spell Snare.
It looks like the answer is going to be yes. So here's a Spell Snare.
And you see, Kevin is very selectively picking his fights. The thing he wants to fight over is all the card advantage.
So here's another Snapcaster Mage.
So Rudy maybe going to try to remand again. Now the danger here is Rudy's down to 2 cards. Kevin could try to sneak in a twin combo right now.
Yep.
Rudy's going very low.
Kevin will cast Remand on the Remand. Of course, it won't go back because of flashback. So now Kevin gets to draw a card. His Lightning Bolt's going to resolve in the Snapcaster Mage.
Oh, wow. The draw off the Remand was another Lightning Bolt.
He can use that to kill the Snapcaster Mage now if he'd like.
Yes, he can. But, of course, why do it now?
You love to wait.
Yeah. Spells. I like having cards in my hand. They're less fun when they're in the graveyard.
Remand the draw here for Kevin. He does have a Serum Visions in hand as well.
Eventually, we're going to see him try to push through this twin combo, but it's a real slow process.
Yep. And again, one thing to keep in mind, and we've said this many times here this weekend, both players have access to each other's deck lists, so nothing is a mystery here. They're playing with complete information as far as what cards are in my opponent's deck. You don't know what's in your opponent's hand all the time, but you know what cards are in your opponent's deck, as here comes Snapcaster Mage. Lightning Bolt will take care of that.
And Rudy getting stuck on the worst cards in the deck. And really the worst card is Splinter Twin.
Yes.
You You'll see both players go off it completely after sideboarding. But Rudy stuck with 2 of them. I mean, how much can we say that Desolate Lighthouse has been the story of this game?
Well, Lighthouse is busted in the mirror. It's completely busted. And again, the Black Splash is perfectly reasonable. Kolaghan's Command is a fantastic card, but this is the power of having utility lands in your deck.
If it resolves, Rudy's tried for 2 Kolaghan's Commands. We haven't seen one yet.
Here's Serum Visions. And, this is part of the reason that we see players like Sam Pardee and a bevy of other players always just take the blue-red twin instead of the splash. Now, it's not to say that Grixis twin, Teamer twin, Jeskai twin haven't had success, but whenever you talk to those guys, they're just like, I don't really find the need to splash a color. Now, Rudy's found his Lighthouse. It's a little bit late to the party, but now he's found his. And now this might force the action from Kevin.
The moment Rudy plays Desolate Lighthouse, Kevin starts casting Exarchs.
Yep.
It is no coincidence that this is how things have gone.
There's a discard of Splinter Twin.
Kevin may go for multiple Exarchs here. And you know that was, it is not a coincidence that just happened for Kevin. He just immediately said, okay, now my advantage is over. Time to cash in.
I certainly can't push it as much as I was before. Dispel was the draw this turn. And now the question is, does Kevin does he have enough permission to be able to go off?
Now what Rudy can do is he can stall it a turn. If he cannot win the counter war over Splinter Twin, he could tap the Exarch in response to it with the Pestermite he drew. It is not pretty, but it's possible.
Well, he might be able to stall it a turn. There's no guarantee of that, of course, right? Because if he puts Splinter Twin on there and Rudy says, okay, tap it, and then Kevin plays an Exarch to untap it and combo off. It looks like Kevin's not going to go for the big win just yet, however. Here comes Serum Visions.
Such patience on Kevin's side. He was saying that was what he felt his advantage in the matchup was, that he was just the more patient of players. Certainly he's playing like it right now.
Well, I feel like a lot of the time in the Twin Mirror, and I'm certainly no Twin expert, I don't really play this style of deck, but I watch it a lot, and I feel like it's the person who moves first that oftentimes walks into the trap.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of a control mirror like that when the guy who makes the first move is at a disadvantage. So you see them you see the players putting themselves in positions where they're trying to force their opponent to move first.
Because Kevin has had the opportunity here to make a couple of moves, but he set up a Serum Visions that looks pretty good now. He's found a copy of a Vendilion Click. And while Rudy's trying to catch up here, and he's drawn a copy of Dispel, which is a fantastic draw for him, Vendilion Click does a great job, as we know, of clearing the way to see if the coast is clear.
Well, what Vendilion Click will do more than anything else is he'll get to look at Rudy's hand, and boy, he could use that.
I just want to know what I have to play around. There's no guarantee that I have to take a card. It looks like Murderous Cut's going to go after Deceiver Exarch here.
Rudy has to cast it now. Murderous Cut is definitely the card that's going to get taken by Vendilion Click.
Deceiver Exarch is down. And now Kevin says, let me see your hand. The grip here, 2 Splinter Twins, a Pestermite, and a Dispel. And that's not that hard for Kevin to play through.
There's almost no permission. I mean, Dispel is certainly worth taking. Pestermite is also could be worth taking, but maybe. I mean, it depends how much he thinks. Pestermite plus Twin is the combo, so Kevin will have to evaluate just how much permission he has.
And he's not going to take any card.
That's a bad sign for Rudy.
Yeah, I would not feel good about that. Kevin just going to untap and take a draw step here. An update here for you as well. Our backup match, well, we're not going to have time to jump that way because Todd Anderson won too quickly. He won his match 2-0. Teamer Twin does take down Jacob Wilson playing Jun. And for Todd, that puts him into day 2. Of course, Jacob going to be in day 2 as well, but Todd will pick up a bye as a result. So congratulations to him, joining his testing partner, Brad Nelson, with a bye into the quarterfinals for tomorrow.
Can't say enough about the preparation of the Roanoke players. Brad with a bye, Todd with a bye, and it may be Tom Ross as well with a bye. They could go all 3 of them taking the top 4 spots.
Yeah. Impressive work done by those 3. It'll be a Lighthouse activation. Splinter Twin will bite the dust.
And you have to wonder if Kevin's ever going to go for the combo. I mean, with this Vendilion Click in play, he doesn't really need to.
I am curious if he's ever going to make his move. Now, again, Kevin has said many times that he's very patient in the mirror match, and there are moments, and I get the luxury of looking at both players' hands, but there are moments where I just say, I want to go for it. Let's do this.
Let's play a Vendilion Click on a board that has a Vendilion Click on it, sure.
He wants to get a look yet again. Terminate's going to take care of that.
You see, the one thing he's doing, Kevin is not defending his own threats at all. But what do you think he wants to do is try to clear the way here for a win. If he sees a green light, then he's going to go for it. Now, He may just have it.
I mean, it feels like the coast is getting clear. He took Splinter Twin there. I was a little bit surprised by that.
Well, it's possible that of the cards in his hand, the thing he doesn't actually have is an answer to the combo anymore.
There's Exarch. Looks like he's going to tap the Lighthouse.
Rudy on his face, he knows he's in trouble.
Yeah, Kevin gets to work with the information. Rudy doesn't have it. Kevin will untap.
He has had Twin plus Exarch for most of the game. Been very careful about picking his moment. He knows he's playing around a Dispel.
Looks like he likes to go to attack step. Just attack for 1. Exarch going to come down, tap the Lighthouse, and he's looking to block.
I almost expect there's an interesting choice. Rudy could tap Kevin's Lighthouse or untap his own Lighthouse.
That actually is an interesting choice there.
Similar quality plays.
Yep.
Kevin has to watch out for top deck copies of Splinter Twin, though, mind you.
Well, Kevin's got quite a few cards in his hand, so I don't know how concerned he is with Splinter Twin. It's weird, right? Because we just saw him take Splinter Twin with Deceiver
Exactly.
Exarch, with Vendilion Click, excuse me, so you have to imagine he's somewhat scared of it, but I don't know how scared of it he is.
It may be the situation that he's trying to think of how he could possibly lose and says, well, if Rudy runs a couple Dispels off the top, I don't want to get cheesed out by this combo. I'll take the Splinter Twin. Like I said, though, at some point, I still expect Kevin to go for it here. He's spent the entire game accruing card advantage.
Yeah, we've talked so much about how patient Kevin's been. It makes you wonder, has he maybe been too patient? Was there maybe a spot where he was supposed to go for it?
Looks like we might be looking at some damage now.
Well, he might be taking the plan that Rudy was on earlier, which is, how about I'm going to Snapcaster Mage Lightning Bolt you and try to beat you down this way.
For the first time in the game, Kevin's ahead on life points.
Eh. He took some shots to get the shop set up. Picked up another copy of Deceiver Exarch.
Remember, Rudy has already used his one of Cryptic command. Kevin plays 2 copies because he doesn't have a splash. On a board like this, that matters.
Yep, here's Deceiver Exarch. Gonna go after Lighthouse again. Looks like he wants to block Snapcaster Mage. That'll work. 1 damage will come through.
Love it. Kevin just never defending his own threats.
Nope.
It's not what they're there for.
I will say, the plan hasn't changed one bit. He's done the same thing over the course of the entire game. He's not defended his threats at all.
He has never looked anywhere toward a win. He is just playing the card advantage game, and he's trying to be as low investment toward his win condition as possible. Literally what he's trying to do is he'll Snapcast a Lightning Bolt on an end step sometimes, and then let the Snapcaster die.
Here's the Serum Visions. Now, Rudy has found a copy of Vendilion Click. That's a big card in the mirror.
Yeah, both players do play 2 copies. Rudy hasn't seen his yet.
Yep.
Both of Kevin's in the graveyard.
Here come Exarchs, maybe. It'll just be an attack with one of them. Kevin got to look through the graveyard again here.
You still wonder if Splinter Twin is looming.
It looks like Snapcaster Mage is, so he'll go towards that. Is there
We have
another lightning bolt?
Oh, goodness. Oh, there is.
Okay, there's another one down there. Here's Vendilion Click.
Forcing Rudy's hand. I like it.
Maybe now we're going to see Kevin cash in that Cryptic command. I think this card is just good enough for the 4-mana counter. So here is Cryptic.
We are on Rudy's turn for the record.
Correct.
Here. So Kevin can afford to fight lower than Rudy.
Yeah, here's some Dispel action. So you see all of the trading of all the resources, and now Vendilion Click is in.
So quickly here, Kevin cast Cryptic. Rudy dispelled it. Kevin dispelled the Dispel. Those 2 resolved. With Cryptic still in the stack, Rudy played Snapcaster Mage on the Dispel, then winning the war.
Now Vendilion Click gets the opportunity to take a card. Rudy's last card in hand is a Pestermite. And if you're Rudy, I think you have to take a card here. I think you are not left with a choice.
I mean, if you leave Splinter Twin, you're dead.
Yep.
Kevin can go for Splinter Twin on Exarch. When Rudy tries to Pestermite the Exarch in response, Kevin will remand it and win the game.
Yep. Now remember, this is all in response to Snapcaster Mage as well, because Kevin's Snapcaster Mage is still going to resolve.
Yeah, it
A targeted lightning bolt.
Okay, so the Snapcaster Mage has resolved, but the trigger of Lightning Bolt is on the stack.
Correct. That card's going to go to the bottom. I believe that was a remand.
Yeah, he did take the remand there, which he has to do, like you mentioned, otherwise he loses.
I guess the only question now is, does Kevin know that the last card in Rudy's hand is a Pestermite? Because if he does, he just wins the game.
He's a turn off from winning the game. Rudy can buy himself one turn with that Pestermite.
He plays Splinter Twin on Deceiver Exarch. Rudy taps it. Kevin plays Deceiver Exarch, untaps it, kills him.
Okay, no, you're absolutely right. Does Kevin go for it?
Well, Rudy's only got one card left in his hand, so the coast is about as clear as it's going to get. Here's Splinter Twin. Sure, tap your creature. That's fine. And now Kevin can play Deceiver Exarch. Untap my Deceiver Exarch, go infinite, kill you. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Kevin Jones is going to win game number 1 here over Rudy Briksza. Blue-Red Twin is up a game here over Grix's Twin. Kevin displaying his patience yet again.
Just as he said it would happen. These matchups, like I said before, they are skill testers.
Well, we're going to take a look at the sideboards here for both players, and we're going to go to Rudy's sideboard and see if he's got any black cards that can help him here. Is a Static Caster, 2 copies of Blood Moon, a Dispel, a Negate, a Terminate, 2 copies of Pia and Kieran Nalar, a Keranos, God of Storms, and Anger of Gods. Painful Truce, a Shatter Storm, and 3 copies of Thoughtseize. There's some discard. There's a little bit of card drawing. What do you like here?
There's a lot of great things in here for Rudy. So let's first of all talk about the black cards. This is what Rudy can do that Kevin can't, and will make the matchup different. So Rudy has 3 copies of Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize should be good here. Trading cards like Thoughtseize with a Snapcaster Mage or with a Cryptic Command, those are going to be excellent. So he'll go for that play. Other slam dunks, we see Dispel, we see Negate. Those are going to be excellent here. We saw just how good Dispel was in the first game. I would not be surprised to see him go at Terminate or Painful Truths. And to a point, I'm not sure you can tap out for it, but Pia and Kieran Nalar, while ambitious, would do a lot of heavy lifting if Rudy resolved one.
On the other side of things here, for Kevin Jones, 2 Engineered Explosives of Spellskite, 2 Blood Moons of his own, 2 Ancient Grudge, a Negate, a Pia and Kieran Nalar of his own, 2 Keranos, God of Storms, a Jace Architect of Thought, 2 Anger of the Gods, and a Roast. Neither of these players have Teferi, but Kevin has good options as well.
Yeah, Kevin's sideboard's not as stocked as Rudy's, but it's still pretty reasonable. Let's start with the Negate. That one's obvious that he'll board in. Other things that he can do, he has a Jace Architect of Thought that will usually come in this matchup, just that mid-game card advantage engine. Spellskite, excellent against twin decks. Even when they board out the combo, there's a lot of value to be had from a Spellskite here. Lastly, he has his own copy of Pia and Kieran Nalar and Keranos, God of Storms, which he could go to.
Well, those are the options that are available to both players. They will sideboard, of course, take a look at each other's deck lists so they know exactly what 15 cards they have to worry about. And then they'll shuffle up and get ready here for game number 2. Rudy Briksza will be on the play, presumably. I suppose he could choose to draw, but I'd be surprised if he did. And in the meantime, we will take a look at the Oath of the Gatewatch pre-release that's taking place here in just a couple of weeks. Some cards from this set have already been spoiled a little bit here. So looking forward to what's coming out here at the pre-release January 16th and the 17th. And our playmat is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I wanted to say this one, so I jumped in. Oath of the Gatehop. So that's going to be the playmat, which you can win here by showing up to the Star City Games Game Center here in Roanoke, Virginia, or for those of you who maybe that's a little too much of a trek for, they go on sale Monday morning while supplies last.
Yeah, any that are left over from the pre-release, and of course at the pre-release at the Star City Games Center, free with every flight entry January 16th and the 17th. Access available on Monday, and as we've seen so many times with these playmats that are unique to the pre-release, they go pretty quickly. So go.starcitygames.com/pre-release for more information. Hopefully we'll see you at the pre-release at the Star City Games Center January 16th and the 17th. And I guess, given my move to Roanoke, I'll be playing in the pre-release of the Star City Games Center for the very first time.
Oh, wow, you're going to get one of the playmats. Now I'm super jealous. I need to move to Roanoke too, I guess.
I can sell it to you for a good price. We can negotiate.
So
$2 million, $3 million. We'll talk.
I know people didn't realize the Hedrons were actually, they're just large carrots.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I need to read the books. For Kevin Jones, for Rudy Briksza, you see here an elimination match. For Kevin, of course, last year we saw him with the Players' Championship. Did not have the run that he wanted, but he qualified again. And for the 28-year-old from Kingston, New York, our Season 2 point champion, 8 Open Series top 8s to the name, 1 W as well. Last year when we were in Edison, a million billion Open Series points, 276. And you see his lifetime record versus the field, 8-5-1.
Yeah, so he's actually, mentioned, has a great record against Rudy Briksza. This is 3-1 so far against him, including a win in the twin match this year. Had a very good 2015, 62% win percentage in the field, is actually one of the stronger players, which last year, I think going into the field, Kevin was really one of the no-names. He was one of the players who, was happy to get there, didn't really know what he would do. In the very first leg, he got eliminated by Joe Lissette, picked up one match win, but that was about it. I think hoping for a deeper run this time. Obviously, he's going to have to win this one if he wants to show up on Sunday, but
of course.
He's up a game, and that play is something I would not have expected to see from him 12 months ago.
I agree. And one of the things I've also noticed that's improved in his game as well is his deck selection. I thought his deck selection for Legacy was fantastic this weekend. I thought the selection of Merfolk based on who was in the field and what he thought the field would do. I don't like that Legacy deck very much, but I think that was the correct choice. I think that it was correct is strong. I think that it was a good choice for the metagame. If you're expecting a lot of Delver players, a lot of, Infect, stuff that has access to blue mana, and you're not expecting Death and Taxes, where, the Roanoke guys kind of took people by surprise with that. But if you're expecting a lot of Delver stuff, he played against Jacob Wilson in the tournament. Jacob's always playing Delver strategies, be it Teamer or Grixis, and he ran through that one pretty quickly, not much of a surprise. I think that Kevin let a match get away playing against Jonathan Morawski when Morawski was playing Elves, where Kevin has main deck Chalices and GTAs and all this other stuff. But I actually thought the deck selection was pretty good for him this weekend.
So what I like from Kevin Jones, I think 2015 was where he got a lot of self-awareness as a player. One thing is he locked up his spot at the Players' Championship very early. And to be honest, over the last 6 months, Kevin's had a pretty miserable year on the Open Series.
Yeah.
And he's been talking about it. And one of the things that helped him do was kind of realize where he was as a player and where he wasn't. So I'm talking to him about Merfolk and Legacy. This isn't a tier 1 deck. But what he said is, well, there's a lot of great players in the field. There's going to be players like Jacob Wilson's out there who he's not sure he wants to get into a Stoneblade mirror with or a Delver mirror with. And, okay, if that means what you have to do to beat Jacob Wilson is play Merfolk, this deck that's kind of wonky, tier 2, but has a good Delver matchup. I mean, he defeated Jacob in Legacy, and that's one of the biggest upsets on day one.
Yeah, and he beat him 2-0. He beat him pretty clean there, and I think that his matchup against Grixis Delver is fantastic when Merfolk lines up very, very well against those decks. So I think that Kevin's deck selection was pretty good here, and he's in someone as well who's been playing Blue-Red Twin for a little while, and you can tell just from that game that we watched, at least in the mirror, he appears to be pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he certainly knows what he's doing here. Kevin has his strong points when it comes to archetypes. He's not the most diverse of players, but it's when it comes to Jeskai or decks that blue decks that go aggro sometimes. I think Kevin knows his way around those. He's got a lot of matches logged in many formats with that kind of deck.
And the interesting thing about diversity in Magic as far as deck selection is concerned is, for some players like a Brad Nelson, you can just test and put your hours in on Magic Online and you can be as diverse as can be and you don't ever play the same deck week to week. But some people are specialists. And even Jacob Wilson, who's a pretty diverse Magic player, when I think of him in terms of Legacy, I think of one of, if not the best Delver players in the world. So diversity can be a strong suit, or it can be something where I'd rather just be streamlined and just play one specific deck incredibly well.
There are players out there, so your Guillaume Wafo-Tapas of the world who have made a Hall of Fame career out of playing one deck.
Yep.
And when we look at our Legacy 3-0s, Caleb Schur playing 3-0 and undefeated in Legacy today, and everybody could have told you what he was going to play at this tournament, I don't know, 2 years ago?
Yeah. He should have had a sign on his forehead. It wouldn't have changed anything. He was going to play Storm. He 3-0'd with Storm, and now he's in the day 2 with a bye into the quarterfinals.
He made a Storm counter token 4 days ago. I wonder what he's playing.
That'd be quite the juke on the metagame, I will say that. A Polluted Delta here from Rudy. We're going to head back Kevin's way. He just resolved a copy of Serum Visions. We'll see how comfortable Kevin is after sideboard, especially when you're working on the information that your opponent has discard spells and a bunch of other things coming in.
Yeah, I do wonder if the presence of 3 Thoughtseizes in Rudy's deck will change the approach from Kevin. If he's sitting back on a hand full of spells, the issue is that his cryptic commands, his big finishers, his 2-for-1s, they're going to get Thoughtseized. So if he's relying on cryptic to be a 2-for-1, he may be disappointed when he finds that it just trades for discard.
Misty Rainforest will be sacrificed here by Kevin. We'll see if he's got any end-of-turn actions. And there's a Vendilion click from Rudy with the fetch land on the stack.
Important with this on the stack, Kevin was likely going to go for some sort of end-step value creature, an Exarch or a Pestermite. Rudy wants to get this down before Kevin has any sort of options.
Now, the big thing with the sideboarding here is, do you leave in the combo? Do you leave in some of the combo? Do you leave in none of the combo? Who knows? Every player, at least in my opinion, does things a little bit differently.
I mean, the thing is if Rudy... there was a chance that if Rudy didn't have Murderous Cut or something like that in his hand, that if Kevin just had the whole combo in right now and redundantly had it in, he could die right here with this play.
Yeah.
This is not a line Rudy would take game 1.
It's certainly risky. Even in a sideboarded game, it's a little bit risky. You see Click's going to take a look at Kevin's hand. There's Vendilion Click, a Deceiver Exarch, Serum Visions, a bunch of blue cards here. Dispel as well. There's also a Snapcaster Mage hiding out. And it looks like there's actually those are the remand. All these blue cards look the same. They're all so good.
Snapcaster, Remand, Dispel,
Yeah.
Exarch, and Serum Visions.
So a card will go to the bottom.
Yeah, one of his copies of Remand was taken, left with the other one. And in these matchups, you know, it's hard to take a card from... there's not a lot of value as far as what card you're taking, at least at this point. What Rudy's actually gaining is just information. And a 3-1.
Now the fetch land will resolve. That'll be the Misty Rainforest going to search up a copy of Steam Vents.
Remember that Stomping Ground in Kevin's deck. Not indicative of a Tarmogoyf or anything. It is for some sideboard Ancient Grudges he's playing, which are probably not in the deck here.
Time for Jones to draw. Again, for him, much like in the last game, as he'll sacrifice a copy of Scalding Tarn, what he is looking to find is Desolate Lighthouse.
Yeah. Land was an excellent draw for Kevin here.
Yeah.
Rudy's hand of multiple Exarchs and a Cryptic Command has high upside in Cryptic Command, but is otherwise weak right now. I think the best thing Rudy has going on is that he's the guy with the Vendilion Click in play, and Kevin does not have a Lightning Bolt for it at the moment.
Here's Serum Visions.
Spell Snare and Misty Rainforest on the scry. This is an interesting choice from Kevin. Spell Snare is an excellent card in this matchup, but he does need to find a Lightning Bolt, and you see he actually has to bottom the Spell Snare.
Kevin's hand is a pretty powerful one, though. You see Rudy's expecting the Vendilion Click to die already.
Well, Kevin may Snapcast Serum Visions here. He needs a Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt's what he's found, and now we'll take a look at this scry, see where these cards are going to go. Spellskite among the cards. There's also Vendilion Click in there as well. And he's going to keep those on top of his deck pretty quickly.
Well played, Kevin Jones. Now, in keeping both those on top, Kevin has resigned himself to only 4 lands, and that's a concern.
Now, you had a feeling he was going to go this direction, did you, with Rudy, as far as maybe going to a more aggressive approach, with Pia and Kieran?
Pia and Kieran Noir, I mean, it is just a great card to tap out for.
And it's on the battlefield now. Now, it only makes 2 Thopters, not 4, so we will get that situated. There we are. If it made 4, I might leave the booth. Maybe start playing with that card.
Yeah, that'd be good, right? That'd be
a pretty good Magic card. Lightning Bolt's going to take care of that. Here comes Spellskite. And now here comes an attack with Snapcaster Mage.
So Kevin kind of has an answer here. He got rid of Pia and Kieran. That was good. But Rudy has 5 power flying that Kevin isn't ready with an answer to. Now, he could dig toward Electrolyze. It would be a huge play if he got it to resolve, but he doesn't have many turns to do this.
See, I actually kind of like the approach that Rudy's taking after sideboard with this Pia and Kieran strategy. And the reason I like that is because it fits the way that he plays Magic more than anything. He likes to take an aggressive approach. I don't know if this is the best plan in the matchup. I certainly...
But it's the best plan for Rudy.
It's the best plan for him, in my opinion, because of the way he likes to play the games. We saw how he wanted to play the first game.
He wants to win. He doesn't want to just sit back.
Deceiver Exarch's going to come down. I think we might see him try to block the Snapcaster Mage here. He's going to tap, or at least try to tap the Stomping Ground.
Looks like he'll end up tapping Spellskite instead. Now, one clean answer Kevin could have is if he's boarded in his own copies of Pia and Kieran Nalaar, that would be just about ideal here.
Yep.
But you have to find it soon. He's at 8. Then that is already lower than he got last game.
Stomping Ground taps. Exarch looking to get in front of Snapcaster. That'll work just fine. Snapcaster down.
Kevin does not seem to be swaying at all from his previous strategy. That said, he was never this far behind game 1.
Yeah, game 1 gave him the ability to play the way that he did. This game is much different now.
No Desolate Lighthouse, lots of creatures on Rudy's side. Rudy getting the opportunity for Pia and Kieran is the story of the game.
Here's a main phase copy of Vendilion Click. Rudy working with a Kolaghan's Command, a Cryptic Command, a Snapcaster Mage, and a Deceiver Exarch.
This hand is great.
Yep.
It's real bad news if you're a Kevin Jones fan. He's more or less forced to take the Cryptic Command. I suppose he has a Dispel in hand, so he can he can somewhat play around it.
I mean, he can write down the contents and let him keep them all. But if he's let him keep them all, it means he feels he can beat them all, and that seems hard. But it appears for right now he's going to let him keep them all.
All right.
All right, over to Rudy we're going to go. Remand the draw. Here come the Thopters, and it looks like Vendilion Click wants to join the party too.
See if Rudy will actually offer the trade of Vendilion Clicks.
I don't want to. Kevin's going to take it immediately.
All right. It seems like what Rudy is now taking the patient play. He could continue to try to press advantage, but he has Kevin at 5. He has counter magic that will be better once he gets more lands. He's going to make Kevin do something.
Kevin just going to pass the turn back. Maybe we'll see a Kolaghan's Command on the way. Here's a Cryptic Command.
Wow. That was more aggressive than I expected.
Kevin going to play Dispel here.
Yeah.
Not going to let that resolve. And Rudy is tapped out, so you can make a bit of a move here if you'd like.
See if he has one worth making. Still has 1 Dispel left in his hand, remember. And I think this was over-aggression on Rudy's part. Imagine right now that Kevin electrolyzed the 2 Thopters, if he just had that.
Yeah, it'd be horrible.
It would be horrible for Rudy.
Remand the draw. Here comes a Thopter. Jones is going to fall down to 4. Pass the turn back.
The danger here is I think Kevin is going to stabilize, but at what cost? Now, this is interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Kevin has drawn Blood Moon, which is not particularly good on this board. And if I were Kevin, I wouldn't want to show Rudy. I didn't expect to see it.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I want to show him or not. If I think I can win, I might show him.
Well, Rudy has basic island, basic swamp. It does shut off Cryptic Command. It shuts off Snapcaster Mage.
It just shuts off him being able to interact a bunch in one turn.
Right.
And in that regard, I'm interested. It also shuts off a bunch of fetch lands, too, which would search for blue sources as well. So, again, in that regard, I'm a little bit interested in Blood Moon.
I don't think... I mean, if you look at the way Rudy has been fetching this game, he hasn't been overly bullish on basics.
See if Kevin wants to fight back over this remand.
This is on Rudy's beginning of combat step. If he remands, he'd have to remand his own Exarch.
Yeah, don't want to remand in this situation. Here's Dispel.
Yeah. This is a costly use of a Dispel. He would have liked to have gotten a more influential card for it.
Now here comes an attack. Polluted Delta the land. I'm curious what that will search up as we keep going here.
On Rudy Briksza, basic land count, 4 islands, 1 swamp. If he's willing to search basics and knows that he should be doing it, then he should be well protected from Blood Moon. But I'll admit, I didn't expect Kevin to have it in.
No, me either.
You're playing the same deck. Generally, the general thought is on both in the mirror match, you don't ever board your Blood Moons in.
Watery Grave the draw. That's going to end the battlefield untapped. There's Exarch to shut down that Thopter token. The nice thing here for Kevin is that he's got Spellskite to protect against a Lightning Bolt win.
He does have that.
Yeah, so it's a small thing, but it's a nice thing that he has access to here.
See if Rudy wants to untap his Thopter and keep going at it.
Well, just pass the turn back. Back to Jones we're going to go. He'll draw a card for the turn. Blood Moon Remand in hand. And they'll just quickly pass. Here comes Kolaghan's Command. Destroy target artifact. It looks like 2 damage going upstairs.
Well, if it's 2 damage going upstairs, Spellskite will redirect. So I imagine it's...
Maybe discard.
Yeah, that's safer.
Yeah, it'll be discard. Kevin will discard Blood Moon.
So he's willing to show it.
I think he's probably going to sideboard it out for Game 3. If there is a Game 3, I think he sideboards it out.
It certainly has not fit the bill here.
Yeah. Here's an attack for 1. Jones going to fall down to 2. Jones will draw. Looks like he picked up another copy of Exarch. No good attacks to be had here, so we head back over to Rudy. Snapcaster makes a draw for him. Attack step.
Now we're in the territory where fetch lands are being shut off. Remember, there is no life gain in the twin deck, so damage is permanent.
An island to draw here for Kevin. Here's Snapcaster Mage on the end step. It's an attempt at Kolaghan's Command.
You see, this whole game has been Kevin trying to recover from Pia and Kieran Nalaar, and he never really did.
There's Spell Snare on the remand. Looks like Spell Snare is going to resolve. Here's another attempt at a remand. That will work. Kevin will get to draw his card from remand. Can he find a way to kill this darned Thopter?
I mean, if he still has a Splinter Twin left in the deck, he could win right now.
We're going to head back over to Rudy. Island the draw for the turn.
But I think that's what Kevin's working with.
He'll try to Exarch this. That'll work. Untap it and kill you. And that'll work just fine. Rudy Briksza is going to win game number 2 here against Kevin Jones. Briksza's twin, blue-red twin, getting ready here for game number 3. A marathon affair between the two.
Surprised by the sideboard Blood Moon from Kevin. If I wanted a cheese you out card to keep in, rather than going to Blood Moon, I think I would actually prefer to just keep a couple Splinter Twins in. You know, like mentioning that game, there was a shot where Kevin could have gotten Rudy. Now, it's probably best to do neither, but...
Well, I think it's close, right? Because it's unclear how either player is going to sideboard. You know, we're just making our best guess, and I think that what makes part of the twin matchup interesting is that you can really shift on how you want to do things. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kevin maybe go to Splinter Twin here, or go away from those Blood Moons now that he was willing to show it.
Yeah, see, both players actually do get access to the other one's deck list. Now, this is not the first meeting between the two of them. They more than likely know how the other one plays even before the tournament started.
Now, we take a look here at the sideboard options again for both players, and we'll start with Kevin since he'll be on the play. The 2 Engineered Explosives, the Spellskite, the 2 Blood Moons, the 2 Ancient Grudges, Negate, a Pia and Kieran Nalaar, 2 Keranos God of Storms, a Jace Architect of Thought, 2 Anger of the Gods, and a Roast. So we know at least 1 Blood Moon was in. We know the Spellskite was in. That much is obvious as he played it that game. You have to imagine Negate is in. As far as other stuff, well, we know that Rudy has Pia and Kieran in his deck, so I don't know if Kevin will have his. And that package of card drawing and kind of control to win the game with Keranos and Jace, I imagine are in for Kevin.
I thought so. I mean, if Kevin didn't have Pia and Kieran Nalaar in that game, after game 2, I would strongly consider trying it out. It looked excellent on Rudy's side.
Yeah, again, I feel like it looks excellent on Rudy's side because that's the way that Rudy wants to play the game. Also, Rudy has the ability to bring it back with Kolaghan's Command.
Sure.
So I think he's a much better positioned Pia and Kieran deck. Now, for Rudy's side, he's got a Static Caster, 2 Blood Moons of his own, a Dispel, a Negate, a Terminate, a Painful Truce, a Shatterstorm, 3 copies of Thoughtseize, 2 copies of Pia and Kieran Nalaar, a Keranos of his own, as well as an Anger of the Gods, too. We know that at least 1 Pia is in, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rudy's taking a more aggressive slant to things with the Painful Truce, with the Keranos, of course. I don't think Blood Moon's coming in. It doesn't work as well against Kevin's deck as it works against his, but you can tell he's taking a more aggressive slant to things.
Yeah, so if you look at the 2 deck lists, I still like Kevin's in the mirror, but it's very close. I think the difference is instead of having these mid-range threats, like Pia and Kieran and Keranos and that sort of thing, Kevin has more copies of some of the cards that matter. Just, you know, he has an extra Dispel, he has an extra Cryptic. What that means is in the fights that both players want to fight, the defensive ones, Kevin's a favorite, but it also means that he is worse at coming back from behind. If something slips through, like that Pia and Kieran Nalaar, then Kevin's in a world of trouble.
For Rudy, getting ready here for game number 3, the 26-year-old from Baltimore, Maryland, got an at-large point leader bid, 8 Open Series top 8s just like Kevin, 2 wins to Kevin's 1, and you see there the lifetime record versus the PC field of 11 and 18. Win percentage not as high here for Rudy, unfortunately, but none of that matters once you get into this particular tournament. This tournament is a field all of its own.
Yeah, Rudy Briksza, a long time coming, I think, to get here. He's got, in previous years, he's got some tough matchups against these players, but in 2015, he's held his own.
Serum Visions is where Jones is going to start. See what land he wants to search up. He'll go with a basic island. He'll be drawing a card and then scrying 2. Remember these elimination matches here in Modern Group Play. The winner of this is going to move on to tomorrow. The loser is all done for the weekend. So it is untimed. That timer's going up, not down, and we're working our way almost into an hour into the match.
And it's what you'd expect in this kind of dogfight. Kevin winning the long game one, slowly grinding out advantage. For Rudy, a mid-range board plan got him the second game. And this is interesting. We do see a copy of Splinter Twin in Kevin's hand for game 3.
Yeah. Again, that's part of what I like about this deck, is he can get a little bit fluid with it. He can kind of change things up a little bit, but at the same time, you're playing against a deck that does board in Thoughtseize, so maybe you're trying to take Rudy by surprise. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. He searched up a Blood Crypt here right away, so again, we'll see how things do unfold.
Danger on Kevin's side. He does not have a third land in hand at the moment. Now, he did Serum Visions turn 1, so he may know that another land is waiting.
There's a Sulphur Falls. He'll draw a card, and there's a land in Misty Rainforest. We're going to head back Rudy's way here in just a moment, but Kevin looks like he has some upkeep effects.
What you have to watch out for is that Kevin may just attempt to turn 4 twin Rudy.
Yep. That's very real right now.
It's a lot of damage he's going to have to pay for it. This is 4 damage off double steam vents. For a savvy player on Rudy's side, alarm bells should be sounding off that Kevin is willing to take 4 damage for lands. That's unheard of.
There's Exarch, looking to shut down Blood Crypt.
And Rudy has a Remand.
Blood Crypt down. Bloodstained Mire the draw.
Very aggressive line from Kevin.
I kind of like it.
I like it. I mean, it's not... Right, so he's trying to force his way through a Remand. And now you have to wonder, you know, is he just going to straight pull the trigger here? Remand is one of the only cards that beats him, and no, he's not going to.
He'll wait for now. I think he'll say on the upkeep.
Well, you wonder if Rudy could go for something like Pia and Kiran Nalar here, and then Kevin says, "Oh yeah, that's fine.
That's totally
you can have
good.
Those Thopters, man. Sure stinks that you have those every game."
I'm out in the draw here for Rudy. He'll sacrifice this Bloodstained Mire. What do we have coming here? Thoughtseize. Okay, that's timely.
The jig is up, so to speak.
For now.
He has, and you see with Spell Snare, Splinter Twin in Kevin's hand. I mean, Rudy's Remand is no good. Like, this is dangerous, right? You see Splinter Twin, Cryptic Command, Snapcaster Mage, Spell Snare. Rudy has to take the Splinter Twin, or at the very least take the Spell Snare.
Yeah, he's stuck with those 2 options.
Can't take... I mean, Cryptic and Snapcaster are the best cards to take in this matchup, and Rudy can't touch either of them.
Yeah. So Splinter Twin's going to bite the dust. And if you're taking Splinter Twin Thoughtseize, if you're Kevin...
That's
awesome.
a win.
Yeah,
That's a win.
I've got these great cards in my hand.
So Kevin had this cheeky plan where he's going back to Twin in the sideboard. Now that Rudy has spent one of his premier cards, his Thoughtseize on Splinter Twin, now Kevin can sit back and go back to the game plan that he wanted to play in the first place.
But he gets to do that now with 2 points of power on the battlefield. So now he gets to be an aggressor, and now he'll play a Serum Visions.
Right. You wouldn't think a pair of 1/4s would matter like this, but they certainly do.
Couple of lands here for Kevin. I think he's going to want to keep one, put the other to the bottom.
Well, he drew a red card off Visions, and I wonder if it's another twin.
It's a roast.
Okay. If it's another twin, I was saying, oh, I really like the lands now.
Roast is interesting. That's back in after sideboard. Here come the Exarchs.
Wonder if Rudy is willing to jam Pia and Kiran into this board. He knows there's no counter spells on Kevin's side. But now he's got to worry, like, just how many Splinter Twins are in the deck, and why did you scry to the top off that Serum Visions, and should I play these to make these Thopters? There's all sorts of concerns that Rudy's got to have.
There's a lot to think about. Well,
all right.
That answers that question.
Jam, no blue mana up. If you got it, you got it.
Yeah. And he can't even bluff Murderous Cut in this instance because he doesn't even have enough cards in the graveyard. So if Kevin has it, which we know he doesn't, the game would end.
Well, when I saw the red card for a second, I thought Kevin had it. I mean, I think Rudy can't play around Splinter Twin because he knows they left Kevin with a Spell Snare. So what good is it to leave up your Remand?
It's very true. It's very true.
And now we get this thing where both players are playing control and being aggressive. Roast took care of Pia and Kiran Nalar. Kevin has 2 Power of Deceiver Exarchs on the board. Rudy has 2 Power of Thopters. It's this, really like wet noodle fight between the two of them, right? They're just going to hit you a couple times and
it's a very strange game, what we're watching here. It's very odd. Because also look at the life totals. Kevin's at 12, Rudy's at 11. So, like, now we're working ourselves into Bolt Snapcaster Rage, assuming that Bolt's still in each player's deck, which that's unclear because that would be kind of a weird card to have in after sideboard. So, either way, Snapcaster Mage is going to recast Serum Visions.
Great. Okay. I mean, if we want to play this real tempo game where people hit each other with real embarrassing creatures, Snapcaster on Serum Visions is a great way to play that game.
Yeah.
Remember, Kevin has a leftover Cryptic Command, which that's very good here, and he has a Spell Snare to cover Rudy's Remand. If we get into a tempo game, that Cryptic will buy a turn.
Another land here for Rudy. He just has to pass the turn back.
Yeah, and that's the win here for Kevin, because Deceiver Exarchs can keep attacking. Rudy had to leave back both Thopters because he wants to trade one for Snapcaster Mage. And if he only leaves back one, and Kevin, say, bolts the other, it's really bad for Rudy.
Kevin going to come across here with the Exarchs. He's got Splinter Twin in his hand again. He'll just pass the turn back. Rudy's going to fall down to 9. Looks like another Dispel to draw here. There's his Steam Vents. Pass the turn back. Jones.
See no hesitation on Jones' side. Just, yeah, he'll untap and keep going. Here come the 1/4s.
I mean, give me a reason to change, and I will. You haven't given me a reason to change things yet.
Kevin is down on lands. Kevin has 5 to Rudy's 8 now.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And now that Rudy adds Lighthouse to the 8, this is relevant. And if you're a fan for Kevin here, you should be concerned about what's happening with the lands. Now, he's up enough on life totals, and we'll get to that draw in a second, but there are concerns.
I wasn't sure if he was going to leave Lightning Bolt in. Now Kevin's going to serve in with Snapcaster Mage. 1 damage is going to come through, so Rudy's going to fall down to 6, which is a good life total to have your opponent at when Lightning Bolt is involved.
We do have Bolt, Snap, Bolt for Kevin Jones.
I think he might be trying to go for it here.
I mean, Rudy just has to Dispel. He can't. No way.
And again, if you're using Dispels on Lightning Bolts, victory.
Well, we do still have a Splinter Twin going on. Maybe Kevin remands his own Lightning Bolt, does it again.
I want to remand my own Bolt here. Remand's not getting much better.
So I want to too, but then I remember that Kevin said patience.
True.
And then I thought about it and said, you're probably not supposed to. You're probably supposed to let this get countered and let the Exarchs do some damage. And that's what Kevin does.
There's a Sulphur Falls. Pass the turn back.
Now, if you want to talk about whether or not we end step Snapcaster the Lightning Bolt, I think now we have a discussion.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in all proactive plays.
Let's just tap out. Let's do things.
I just want to cast stuff, man.
I didn't play these cards to look at them.
Yeah, you don't get to take them with you.
So how's that twin deck though?
I mean, it's just not. It's just not for me. It's not for me.
I have the problem that when I play it, I just always am like trying to think, how am I going to get this Splinter Twin on this Exarch?
I would jam every time if I played this deck, and that's why I don't ever play it.
Yeah, I'm not jamming, but I tunnel on the combo way too hard. I'm like, I'm playing twin. I have to twin people, and then it's all sorts of bad.
That's why I play Tron and just don't win very much. I just play one way. Okay.
In Tron, you count to 7, and then you look at the 7 drop, and you say, hey, look, these match.
I still lose. Here's Keranos.
All right, so Rudy with the big mid-range plays, but he's at 4. Yeah. Can he actually do this?
The shields are pretty far down here. 3 mana is not bad because he can play 2 spells, like a Remand plus a Dispel, or Remand plus a Spell Snare, but this is tough.
The Exarch beats have just added up too much. I mean, Kevin's got to have this. Kevin's
got a lot to do.
Kevin's got a lot to do here. Because Rudy tapped for Keranos, Kevin now has the mana advantage. I think he can turn that into a win.
Well, with end-of-turn actions of Snapcaster Mage, Lightning Bolt, stuff like that, and then if Rudy deals with all of that, then Splinter Twin in the holster, I think this is going to be Rudy's last turn of the tournament. Here's Snapcaster Mage.
Does it resolve? We'll start here.
It's going to be a Remand on Snapcaster.
Okay, and if you're Kevin, you might be fine. You could let it get remanded. You do it again.
Yeah, but again, Kevin can pick the fight over this all he wants because this is all on Rudy's end step. So this is perfectly fine. I think if you're Kevin, if you want to throw a bunch of your cards on the table and say, do all of this nonsense, remand my thing, draw a card, and then just go for the victory next turn because you don't have to play around very much. There's no null hiding out.
Kevin actually remanded his own Snapcaster.
Yeah.
That's what happened there. But you're right. Now Kevin can untap and he can twin.
Now, I know Kevin has been very patient.
Come on, Kevin. Do it. Combo him. Combo him.
The door is pretty open.
I've been waiting for this the whole match.
Yeah, it's a pretty open door right now. He's going to tap his 4 mana.
Double red. We're going to do it. Splinter Twin on Deceiver Exarch.
And that is going to do it. Kevin Jones is going to win this match here over Rudy Briksza, 2-1. Blue-Red Twin will take care of Briksza's Twin. And for Kevin Jones, he is in day 2 of competition. And for Rudy Briksza, he is eliminated, walking out of here with $500. But he is one of the 4 that will not be competing tomorrow in Standard.
You know, a great first Players Championship for Rudy Briksza, made it all the way to the end of the day. For Kevin Jones, a trip back to Roanoke, and this time he'll be playing on Sunday.
He's improved on his performance from last year. He's in day 2 of competition. And we'll see what the Jeskai Mage brings to the table for Standard. It's got to be Jeskai in some fashion, right?
There's a lot of Jeskai options.
Yeah, it's got to be Jeskai in some fashion. Jeskai Black with Mantis Rider, without, maybe some Jeskai Charms, who knows? But we'll find out tomorrow because Kevin Jones is through. Blue-Red Twin will take care of Briksza's Twin. And again, Rudy Briksza, a heck of a run here this year. A lot of Open Series success, but his tournament is over.